What's up, here, Lor fans? We're back. The dark side and the light. This is our super alpha geek. Stop ruining my intro!
Can that be part of the speculation? We should talk about that.
Oh, for sure. All right, so like a lot of you guys, maybe you've seen, speculation is rampant on Star Wars. We did a full spoilers review that we'll link to. Check that out. But this right now is all super geek, alpha, meathead, Star Wars speculation. Anything possible. None of this is based. Some of it's based on stuff, based on what we've read, but mostly we're gonna pull anything out of our ass.
We're gonna geek it out right
on
now.
some of these big questions. All right. He's Josh Martyr. I'm Dan. That's Big Sims. Darth Mario. All right. I'm gonna start from the beginning, and something that kind of disappointed me. Max von Sydow. He's played some great roles. He was Ming in Flash Gordon.
Yeah, King Osric in Conan.
Right. And so when I heard that he was in this, I was like, oh fuck, awesome. Who's he gonna be? This and that. Okay, he's a character, Lor San Tekka, and full spoilers for all of.
If you didn't know, speculation, spoilers.
Right, spoilers from here on out. Lor San Tekka, and he dies within the first couple minutes. Yeah. So he's pretty much just there to hand that piece of the map to Poe Dameron. Do you think this guy's anybody? Like, are we going to learn maybe in future things that he was somebody, or in like these flashback movies, or is he just a write-off kind of character? Just a write-off?
Write-off. I hope not. Like, that's
it seems like a huge waste.
It does seem like a huge waste. Like, he is such a great character actor. You could do so much with him. Yeah. He does seem somewhat force sensitive, but it's almost like Count Dooku. You know, he was written off, and he was such a great possible character as well. Kind of but yeah, unfortunately, he almost seems like the Count Dooku of this trilogy.
Rumors were rampant on who he may be. People were saying everything from like he's an old Boba Fett to he's Kanan. If you're watching Star Wars Rebels, Kanan was one of the few Jedi that survived.
Old Boba Fett.
Yeah,
he's in the belly of a Sarlacc.
He made it out, man. I'm sure they'll find something.
Come on.
I don't know. But rumors were running rampant.
He's being slowly digested over a period of 1,000 years. He's not.
He had a jetpack.
I was leaning more to that Kanan idea. If you watch Rebels, Kanan is one of the Jedis that survived Order 66. That would have been cool because time-wise it kind of would have fit.
Yeah.
I was really surprised to see him go. So
didn't seem like a Jedi to me though.
No. He at least knew of the Force. He knew everything else.
He was informed, but I don't think he was.
I was disappointed that he just gets cut down and like, what? That's it. All right, so here's really the big one. Who is Rey? Who actually is Rey? Because we learned very early on that Kylo Ren is Ben Solo. They are trying to hit us over the head with messaging in this movie that she is Skywalker's daughter.
Yes.
That part in the Maz Kanata scene where, especially when she has all those big flashbacks to Luke's saber.
Seen through his eyes.
Stuff seen through his eyes, everything else. And Maz Kanata says, it says, that belonged to Luke and belonged to his father before him. Yeah. Now it calls to you.
And now it calls to you? Question mark?
Yeah.
Like
it wasn't a question.
Yeah, she was kind of like...
said it.
No, but she was, and now it calls to you. Like she was like... So she was like...
An astonishment.
An intrigue surrounding it. Like, what does that mean? Like, it was.
And this is that was right after she straight up asked Han, "What's up with the girl?
Who's the girl?"
Who's the girl?
Yeah. So, I mean, look. Star Wars isn't complicated. They've never been complex Nolan plots or strange Kubrick messaging.
No,
it's fucking. They've always been obvious from the beginning. So it would seem that that's his daughter. Then maybe they can pull from. Like the expanded universe canon of Mara Jade, that he had a kid with Mara Jade. So the fact of Luke having offspring is.
I was just about to say, like, crazy. Who did he do?
Yeah.
Who did he Who did Luke Skywalker? I mean, the closest he came was his sister.
Yeah.
You know.
so then you play it out that way, then maybe, and it would. So if it is his daughter, he may have trained her, and then when all the shit went down with Kylo Ren, maybe he had to save whoever he could, spread them over. The popular theory online is that he did a force mind wipe on her, so she never actually remembered a lot of the things, but now that Kylo Ren awakens the force inside her, now she's able to tap in subconsciously as the thing she's been trained in. Yeah. Right? That's kind of a cool speculation I'll go with.
Bill Cosby wish he had force mind.
Boom! Boom!
Get back to
That's amazing.
Put in pop. Put in.
You guys take over the show.
Oh,
you
wow.
mentioned Bill Cosby actually saw that. I don't know.
Don't ever flam. Got me right in the pudding pop. All right, back to Stoke.
Yeah, stay on target. Does anybody have any other hypothesis of who Rey is outside of Luke being her father?
Well, just to continue on a couple of like the other points, let's look at, you've got a X-wing fighter doll in her stuff.
Yeah. Right.
You got her an X-wing helmet that she puts on, and she's like kind of pretending to be like an X-wing
of the time period of Luke.
Which
of
one
the
is
time
it?
period of Luke, right?
Yeah.
So you've got so much pointing towards her being a Skywalker.
She's dropped off on a planet that's very much like Tatooine.
Exactly.
To grow and to nurture
and just
develop.
going back to like saying that it's not a complicated story. Like all like Star Wars is based on Joseph Campbell's like mythology and Hero of a Thousand Faces and all the old Greek mythology, and it's like everybody's connected through the gods on Mount Olympus, and it's either like a son of Zeus or a son of Apollo or somebody. Like it's always connected back to that. So it seems very simple that it would be Luke's daughter.
Yeah.
Now, taking that, my first initial thing was like, I've always seen the outside of canon, the books and stuff like that, the twins, and I always thought that she was another Solo. And she's gotten that from gotten the Skywalker from her mother. You know what I mean? So and that's how, and it would just that would really play up the point of her and Kylo Ren together.
They synergized what was canon, because I think it's Jada Solo, Anakin Solo, Ben Skywalker, and whatever in the so I think they're like
they're cherry picking.
They're
take one,
completely cherry picking.
Yeah.
But the fact that like obviously there's twins in the I'm just going by the fact that everything's rhymed so far. So everything has been like harkened back to the original trilogy or to the prequels at one point. I'm thinking there's probably twins somewhere. And that would kind of make sense of why they were so like evenly powered. That was my kind of...
And if it comes later that she did receive training and subconsciously she was tapping into that,
exactly,
that makes all the other stuff that we were talking about of how she's so good at these things.
Because I feel as though that Luke would have dropped her off on Jakku and would have had input in her training as like a youngling, right? And then would have dropped her off. I don't know about the mind web. Maybe just like she forgot, because she was so young. She was only 4 or 5, right?
Well, why would he drop her off? Like
for safety, because he knows he's going elsewhere.
But see, when Luke was left with Owen, he was left with somebody that he trusted.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like Obi-Wan, and Obi-Wan was there, like in the background. Like again, is there somebody like that now that is looking over her, or
unless it was more of a Leia situation.
Unless it was more, but even Leia was left with Organa, and he was left with somebody who wanted her. Yeah. Like this is like it seems that shit. Like this looks like a complete abandonment.
He had to like drop and go. Yeah.
Like I don't bet why you would drop and go with like this seems really implausible.
It's not a Luke thing to do.
It's not a Luke thing to do. It's not along the same lines as the early like abandoning a child. Like no child has been abandoned. Yeah. You know what I mean? At this point in time.
Yeah. To our knowledge that maybe the person she was with died.
Yeah,
maybe.
Well, that's what I'm saying is we don't know.
Yeah, she was with her mom.
Yeah.
Well, the only thing that we know of who she's left with is Unkar Plut, the portions.
Yeah.
Right, because you hear in that Force vision when she touches the saber.
Now, is it 100% him?
Yeah, it's
his voice. I remember
I've watched it 3 times.
It's his voice.
It's him and it's his hand.
It's his hand.
Come on, girl.
Yeah,
it's him. So she's at least left with him. And Maz Kanata also says,
or did he steal her?
Could be. Either way, he's got her on the planet, and that's all
slave trade or whatever else.
Maz Kanata has also said after Rey has that Force vision that search your feelings, whatever. You know that the people who left you on Jakku aren't coming back, but there is someone who might, something like that.
Yeah.
And which is Luke, right? Go follow your destiny. Your belonging resides in the future, not the past. So that would mean to say, if the people that dropped you there aren't coming back, wouldn't that mean that it wasn't Luke that dropped her off?
Yeah.
Well, it's one of the,
but she still could be his daughter.
She still could be his daughter, and it's almost kind of like a call, like to be against. Like you've got this passive aggressive Kylo Ren. It's almost like telling her, "Don't be like him and go forward. Like don't always look behind you. Look forward." It's almost like kind of like a preaching.
Yeah,
more than anything,
a way of being.
A way of being versus. Because Kylo Ren is doing the absolute opposite. He's passive aggressive, like he's looking back,
living to be Vader, living for the past,
living through the past.
Yeah.
Even
But
you know what I mean.
Yeah. Do you think if Kylo Ren trained with Luke, right? Ben, right?
Yeah.
He would have learned the story of Vader, because I think Luke would tell, like Vader did this bad stuff, but like in the end.
But some kids.
I got some other questions for that.
Yeah.
Can you remember bringing that back? Because I got a lot of parts
I've
got some stuff for that too.
15 minutes right now, so it's.
I can always take video off.
Okay.
Yeah. There's some other like sticking on the Rey theory. There is some things that help it, but also take away from it. A really weird part. It was kind of like a what the fuck moment for me. Is after they escape Starkiller Base, after it implodes, whatever. And they land back at that Resistance base.
Yeah.
And Han's dead, whatever else. General Leia walks past Chewie and hugs Rey.
Yeah.
And embraces.
Yeah.
They've never fucking met each other.
I was so confused about that.
As far as we know in the movie, they've never met. Maybe she's heard about this girl that's there or whatever else. They've never met. And Leia, obviously, when Han dies, she has that kind of Yoda moment of thousand voices screaming out.
Yeah.
Why would she not hug Chewie, but walk past him and hug a total stranger? So, does Leia actually know who she is?
She has.
I feel she does.
She has to.
I feel she does because I was so confused about that. I was like, why? She doesn't know who this person. Aside from like this girl she knew who did good for their cause.
Yeah.
Did justice for their cause. Was sacrificial for their cause. Mm-hmm. That's all she would. That's all she would know.
May know.
But given this reaction, that tends to.
There's gotta be something more.
Yeah,
I just think so too. Like, my major speculations on her is that she's either Luke's daughter or Leia's daughter. So it's like either one. If going by my speculations, it's either her daughter or her niece. She's gonna treat her, and she's gonna know who she is. Like regardless, she's gonna know who she is, and seeing her for the first time now. But it's the reverse. Like she accepted that hug, and she almost kind of knew her back.
Yes.
So now, what is that? Is that a tap into the Force?
Was she the one that she was waiting for her to come back? Was she waiting for Leia?
Exactly.
Like, is the Leia the one who dropped?
Maybe it was Han and Leia.
Yeah, like we don't know, right?
So, but if that's the case, they do a great job of playing poker faces, especially Han.
Well,
big poker face.
Yeah,
he only lets up once.
Yeah, because there's this one time where it's like, "Where's the girl?" Yeah. And he walks off, right? And it's just like, is that almost like I know she can take care of herself?
Yeah.
Or was it like, I don't care?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it was I know she could take care of herself.
Yeah. Interesting stuff, man. Well, there's a lot going on in that Force Vision scene, and every time I've gone back to the theater, I reset myself, and I'm like, okay, let me get everything I possibly can from this Force Vision scene. As soon as she touches the saber, it flashes back to the hallway on Bespin, Cloud City, when Luke is fighting Vader. It flashes to that hallway.
Yeah.
In there, you also have Yoda's voice, random things like energy.
Oh, I didn't hear that.
Binds us, surrounds us.
Oh, right,
like
yes, yeah.
You also have two different versions of Ben Kenobi. You have Alec Guinness's Ben Kenobi saying Rey at the end, which they took from Alec Guinness saying afraid.
Yeah.
So it's Rey. And then right at the end as she comes out of it, it's Ewan McGregor saying, "These are your first steps." Something like that, right? So Obi-Wan's in there. I think you can hear a bit of Vader breathing. And then there's like stuff that we think is a flashback to when you have Luke's hand touching R2, right? Yeah. And then you also see what we think is in the past of Kylo Ren surrounded by the Knights of Ren, and there's just bodies in the rain, right? So that might be a thing of the past. And then you see a future flash to her fighting Kylo Ren in the snow. So a lot of kind of shit going on there, just playing with the lineage, but it's a really, really interesting, well done scene. The movie just goes lightning fast.
Yeah, it does. It needs to be.
But was it like 2 hours or 2.5 hours?
Yeah.
It's just 2 hours.
But it flies, man. It flies so quickly. All right, let's move on to Kylo Ren, probably my favorite character in this, but we're probably given more of his backstory and more information of him than any other character. From throwaway lines of Snoke, we know he's being trained by Snoke. Snoke admits to it. We know that he was being trained by Luke. He's the son of Han and Leia, and we know that he revolted and somehow was drawn to the dark side by Snoke. We have no idea how. What are some other big questions that we have of Kylo Ren though?
There's so much, like, yes, by far we've gotten the most backstory of him than any other character, but there's still so much. Yeah. Like, we don't know what was the cause of his rebellion. Because we also have the fact that Luke feels solely responsible for it, that he's banished himself. Not even, like, other people, because the other people still want him. They want him around, but he's actually feels so guilty about what's happened that he went off and exiled himself from everyone else. So, like, what did this kid do that was the catalyst for all this?
Well, and it was also him feeling like he had the responsibility of his sister's child, of Han's child, and he felt that he failed with family.
Yeah, he failed them as family.
Luke
yeah,
felt
exactly.
That he failed them. So this, he becomes this. Ben Solo becomes this monster essentially, and I think that there's an element of guilt on Luke for creating it, right? Because he imbues him with like initial understandings of the Force, right? And so that when he goes off, they didn't want Ben to be like Anakin. They didn't. They were scared of that. So they sent. So that's why that's why I sent him with Luke. Yeah. And then he ends up gravitating to
all this stuff we know through conversations of what Han says and he's filling in and conversations.
Exactly. Yeah. So that's
all we know. But you're right. Like, what was that? What was that point? And you brought up something too about. Was it you that brought up? Wouldn't Kylo Ren be in contact with Vader's ghost somehow? Was that you that brought that up, or was that someone else?
Well, no. I didn't bring that up.
I'm bringing it up.
But no, I was saying, wouldn't Luke explain the story of Darth Vader and be like, hey, he did this bad thing, but he
It would make sense that he would do that and sit him down, be like, he was redeemed. Because only Luke is the only guy that knows that Vader was redeemed. He was the only one there to witness it. Yeah. Because the Emperor got thrown down.
Yeah. And it's like you wouldn't really keep that a secret because
you wouldn't think so. That's a good question.
Bad thing, right?
And why wouldn't he have learned from that mistake that Vader already made?
Okay, but you're going. You guys are. We're looking at this as adults, right? As a child growing up, there's always the rebellion portion of like we all rebelled, we all went. There's a point that Darth Vader was the baddest mofo in the galaxy. This guy, like, wouldn't part of you as a kid, especially if you were like a kid who was like picked on or might have been a little bit wimpy or whatever, because he is a pussy, like how long has he been this pussy? And would he be like a little bit frail or something as a kid? And now you hear your grandfather was the baddest motherfucker in the fucking galaxy. When you want to be a little bit like that, when you want to be a little bit, like have people fear you, like I'm looking at this as like something, there's going to be a catalyst where he gets pushed around or he gets to the point where he feels so inadequate or so weak. And Luke's a big, powerful Jedi, but he wasn't the bad motherfucker that his grandfather was. Mm-hmm. So I think there's something there that forces him and throws him to.
And there's an angst because he said my foolish father, like he's talking about Han Solo as a fool. He seems to detest him, or like for some reason we're not sure what. So that could have been part of it too.
Yeah. And Snoke must have come in
an influence
and be like, "Look what I got! I got the answers for you, kid. I can take you to the next level. Come to the dark
side."
side."
The Sith recruit like that. The Sith recruit young.
I think he was like when he was training to be a Jedi. I don't think he was like the best Jedi in the world. I think he had some skills in certain aspects, but I think he probably sucked as a fighter because I think his whole lightsaber shows that he's not that good because it's like out of all that you pick this Claymore lightsaber that basically gives you an extra defense.
There's actually an explanation for that. Sorry
really? Go ahead,
but yeah, so I think it's in the some sort of encyclopedia or like art encyclopedia of the movie. So the tri-blade, the side ones are actually exhaust ports.
The crossbars,
because they're exhaust ports because his lightsaber runs on a cracked kyber crystal. Okay, and then this is all real. This is canon. This is canon, right? It runs on a cracked kyber crystal, so it's very unstable and it can blow up at any point. That's why it looks so.
The energy is not at peace. It's active
because it's running on a cracked crystal. So those side ones are exhaust ports to help cool the fucking thing down.
So everything is rushed with him. Like, how does he have a cracked crystal? And he's chained. He's training under Snoke or whatever his name. And it's like, why does he have a cracked crystal? Why doesn't he just go like the whole traditional Sith route and get a crystal? Right. That kind of like shows that his whole training is rushed.
Yeah. Well, Mario said he was taking shortcuts.
He's taking shortcuts. Like
that's
he's
what the dark side is.
But it's not just the dark side, but the dark side is shortcuts. Don't get me wrong. But it does have a lineage. It does have something that you have to flow through it. That's why you have to be an apprentice first before you're a lord.
What I mean though is like what we're talking about is Sims is saying maybe that he wasn't the best Jedi. He has the expectation of being a Skywalker.
Yeah.
Right? So
it's like being a heart.
Yeah. Right? So if he's not the best, like you want to achieve power quickly, dark side. Even though yes, there's a lineage, but you want to achieve it quickly, the dark side is the fast way to power.
Faster. Yes, I agree with that.
Yeah, and then whereas the rest of the Jedi, I mean,
and then you've got Snoke coming in, and I'm sure that Snoke probably is helping him or gearing him towards, and he's probably telling him how much of a badass his grandfather was. Like we're gonna get some things in Rogue One and all that about Darth in his absolute prime. So you had him at some point in time. So you've got to think that like anything else that he's running an empire, he's running a government. He's going to use that as propaganda.
Mm-hmm. Maybe Ben had the same conversation we all had when it's like, so like he's at the temple and Luke is like, hey, the Force is so powerful. You can, over your training, you can learn great stuff like Force push and blah blah. And some people have even learned lightning. Wait a minute, lightning? I'd like to learn Force. No, you can't. You're Jedi's don't do. No, why would you want to do? Not want to do Force lightning and Force choke? Why? Yeah. Like these are great powers.
Yeah,
I want to be a Sith. Yeah. I always had that. Like especially like when I'm playing those video games.
Yeah.
Like, I'm always thinking like, why would I want Force choking?
They got the cool powers.
Yeah, they got the cool powers.
Yeah. That's funny. You brought up. I want to go back to what you were saying about how wouldn't Luke tell him about Vader's redemption and stuff like that.
Yeah. Take
that one step farther. And will we ever see Force ghosts in any of this?
Yeah.
You think so? Because,
definitely.
We know Anakin mastered before he died the being able to be a Force ghost because he's at the end of Return of the Jedi.
Yeah.
In my version, it's an old man. I don't know about your version. Maybe your version, it's Hayden Christensen. My version, they're singing Yub Nub.
Yeah. There's no Trontonians in the movie.
But you figure... couldn't a Force ghost kind of... Because Obi-Wan was with Luke throughout the whole thing, right? Regardless of when he got struck down, right? Isn't the possibility there of Anakin's Force ghost showing up to Kylo, being like, I got some teachings to give you.
Because he doesn't have that training, though.
Yeah, but I think if we're talking about if you're talking about the ghost, we usually associate that with a certain piece and Jedi. because you have to have a certain piece with the Force to come back as that Force apparition.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Anakin got that.
So he wouldn't be coming back to tell Kylo Ren to be a Sith. He'd be teaching him something else.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. So the thing that he might be in contact with, right, is with the Sith. They can imbue certain objects with Sith energy.
Yes.
The helmet that he has, if you look at it, it's kind of like a religious kind of iconic thing that he is probably tapping into that Sith energy in having it's also the stories, it's everything else, but there's, if we want to speculate, it's something that it was part of Vader's face and help be part of his body is going to be imbued with Sith energy, and he could be tapping onto traces of that power, of that badass power.
Yeah, right? And just to continue that, it's a really good point, because that was Vader's face.
Yes.
That wasn't Anakin's face.
Yeah.
That was Vader's face.
Yes.
And he's looking at Vader's face. And who's to say that the pull of the light side isn't somewhat Anakin's ghost? We don't know that, right? Like, he's got a pull to the dark, to the light.
I hear the light calling me.
I hear the light calling. That could be like
Anakin trying to tell him, no, I've gone down this path.
Don't do this.
Don't do this. So you've got Anakin whispering in his ear, don't do this. But you've got
tangible
Sith
energy that gives him
that's giving me goosebumps right there.
Power.
That's the power. Because now,
and we do know that the dark side can cloud things. I mean, in the prequels,
exactly,
Windu and Yoda are right there with Palpatine all the time. But he's such a powerful Sith that he can cloud everything.
And who made the mask? Who made the bodysuit?
Was Palpatine.
Yeah. So there's no
Darth
reason
Sidious.
There's no reason that Snoke can't be clouding things, either trying to fight that Anakin ghost back, trying to keep Yoda, keep Obi-Wan, keep Anakin's ghost away from Kylo Ren.
So they go from being they go from being a visual to maybe a whisper.
That'd be cool.
You know what I mean? And that would be amazing, where you only have that little bit of a pull, like a little whisper in his ear.
That's all he's letting in.
That's all he's letting in, right? Yeah. And that's another thing, because if you go back, because Yoda in the prequels was, when he goes to Obi-Wan, is that he has learned to see those ghosts. Remember, there's a little part in there where he's like talking about how he's learned to see Qui-Gon Jinn. He's learned to see like the Force Ghosts. No, watch the prequels. So there's a little snippet where he's talking about how
he's like when he's about to when they're about to go their separate ways.
Yes,
he's like, I'm gonna complete your training because I've
Obi-Wan.
Because I've talked to Qui-Gon and I'm gonna teach
you how to see see the
ghosts.
I never knew that.
So when you go into seclusion, you can finish your training.
So now that's something.
Yeah.
And so
sorry to cut you off. So that's a two, because when I remember that scene, I thought it was just he's going to teach Obi-Wan how to become a Force ghost.
No,
and how to see and communicate.
Which would also explain.
Is it both though? Yeah. Is it to become one? And
I don't remember becoming. It's just communicating. I remember communicating.
What do you remember of that? I don't remember it at all.
Well, I have to pull that.
I don't remember that part. At this part, I don't remember it at all.
I remembered it as
how to become a Force ghost.
Yeah.
So it's Cortana and Yoda sitting down with Obi-Wan Kenobi, and they're like, "Where am I gonna go?" She's like, and Cortana's like, "I'm gonna I'll take Leia." And and then
Organa.
Organa. Sorry, and then
I remember that scene.
Freaking Halo.
Yeah,
and then when he leaves,
I was like, wait a minute, that name is familiar, but that's not right.
And then when he leaves, they have the conversation
because they're both going. Because remember, they're going into exile. Both.
I remember the scene.
Yeah.
I just got from that what he was going to learn was how to become a Force ghost.
No,
the skill to communicate.
Yeah. So you were saying remember that thing? You said because remember.
Well, remember when we were talking about how could Rey be so good at the inclined. Remember, Luke Skywalker, he started talking to Obi-Wan Kenobi, and he didn't even get that training yet. It was on Planet Hoth, and then he saw the Ghost for the first time. So it's like
What,
you would have
Skywalker?
Yeah, but
Skywalker.
They'd met.
they retcon that though.
Yeah, but
because
they
up
retcon-
until that point, and I've gone my whole life as a Star Wars fan,
Yeah.
never thinking that Force ghosts can just appear to anybody that they want. I never knew that there was a training that the viewer had to go through.
They're supposed to be, well, that's what they allude to it in the prequels, but the main thing that Yoda alludes to it with is that you have to be in seclusion to do it. Why does Obi-Wan go into seclusion? Why does he go off by himself? And Luke was in seclusion
at the end,
when he saw Obi-Wan, and Rey is obviously in seclusion if she is seeing a Force ghost.
Okay, but that was but what contradicts that is at the end of Return of the Jedi, because Luke is literally around. He's like in the background,
But
he's the party, and then they're there.
Nobody's already seen them at that point in time. Like,
Oh, so the first
it's
vision?
the first
Some
vision.
learning how to do it.
like
learning how to do
when
it.
he was on Hoth.
complicated.
When he was on Hoth and he was frozen and
I remember that.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
He sees him, and it's
Cool.
almost like, that
Okay,
little.
so this sets up.
Yes.
You know where I'm going with
Yes,
this?
I do.
This sets up
Because
Rey
we're
on the island
Yeah.
with Luke, and she'll see a Force ghost of somebody.
yes.
And it'll be Obi-Wan's ghost, and then we'll learn that she's Obi-Wan's granddaughter or something.
Again, it could definitely go that route as
But
well.
if the
You
Force-
better not.
Force sensitive.
Luke,
Yeah.
do not diddle my granddaughter.
It's gonna be Yoda first.
Diddling leads to fear. Fear leads to hate. Hate leads to suffering.
Did you diddle Luke?
Tired I am. We're not your age. Options will not be good for you.
What was in Uncle Owen's blue milk? I don't know.
No more questions.
Rest, I need. Rest. If Force Ghosts don't show up somewhere in episode 8 or 9, then I'll be like, well, what's happening? Because that's such a major part of Luke's development. And they show up everywhere.
Yeah.
Right? So if at least some point that
I
doesn't
think
happen,
Yoda's gonna show up.
it would be a real...
Yeah.
It'd be missing out because it's so...
He's
you know,
pivotal. It's
established.
pivotal.
It's a tune to the whole thing. Like it's such a huge, it's part of the it's almost part of it's a seminal part. Like they've reached kind of like almost a sacramental part of their Force awakening by seeing a Force ghost. So I agree. I think I have to see one in order to graduate to the next level of the Force.
Hopefully it happens. Okay, so the big guy that I want to talk about most is Supreme Leader Snoke. All right, when he first showed up, and I was like, oh my god, you fucking idiots!
Yeah, I know. Me too.
Like, are Jedi gonna be swinging at his Achilles tendon?
I know.
And
It was gonna be like the end. It was gonna be like fighting a Contra boss.
Yeah.
At the end, just jumping around, spread gun like that was. You know.
So thank goodness.
That's Nintendo, guys. Yeah. You might not have.
No, there's websites you can play those old school.
Yeah,
games,
try it out. Yeah, spread gun. You need spread gun.
What?
I'll show you after this.
Star.
So, before we get on speculation of Snoke, I want to say I wasn't a huge fan of the CGI version of him. And obviously it's supposed to be a holocron, so it's not going to look real, but I don't know. But you could, if that was the design that they were going with.
The holocron is the information Sith thing.
Really?
Yeah,
So it's just a hologram?
Yeah.
Okay. You didn't need...
Listen, if we're gonna be here, we're gonna do it damn right, okay? We're gonna do it
The
damn
lightsaber
right.
have 7 strips or 6 strips. Okay. It was more of a magenta.
Obviously he's all fucked up, right? But they could have done similar mix of makeup and CGI the way with the Dark Knight did Two-Face, right? Because wasn't that a mix of actual bits of green on his face? So there was CGI in there.
Yeah.
But you gotta think they could do something. I don't know. It was just. Did you guys like the look of him? I was kind of like. It looked cool, but it didn't have to be CGI.
He kind of reminded me of the aliens on Geonosis for some reason.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Aren't those bug things?
No, the tall ones.
The cloners?
Master Jedi.
Oh,
Yeah,
the
yeah,
cloners.
Oh, that is
Yeah.
Genesis. Yeah. I was thinking of what was the bug planet?
I don't know.
No, that's Camino.
That's
Sean, the planet of the cloners is Camino.
Yeah, exactly. Set up straight. Set up straight. Nah.
We got all the knowledge knowledge on this side. You thought he looked maybe a little bit like that.
Yeah.
Did you guys like the look of him?
Well, we'll get into after. I'll talk about whether I'm okay with that because of what I think he might be.
Okay. Yeah. So here's now I didn't come up with this theory of who Snoke actually is, but you may have read it online.
I came up with mine.
The first guy I ever heard doing this is there's a show Jedi Council with Christian Harloff,
Yes.
John Campea.
Yeah.
Christian Harloff is great at all the Star Wars speculation. John Campea is good too, but he first brought up months ago that he predicted that Supreme Leader Snoke was actually Darth Plagueis.
Yes.
Plagueis.
It was actually Darth Plagueis.
Yeah.
Which meant now Darth Plagueis has obviously been he was immune in the like the really tall kind of guys in the expanded universe.
Yeah.
Darth Plagueis is canon because Palpatine mentions him.
Yes,
tells
he has
the story,
to be.
Right?
He has to be.
It all kind of fits, right? Obviously, they changed his race, but we know that Palpatine tried to kill him.
Yeah.
Right.
No, Palpatine. He said he killed him.
Yeah.
He said he killed him.
He said he killed
but
him.
That Plagueis was studying to cheat death.
Yeah.
Yes.
So you know that Snoke has gone through some battles because he looks like a corpse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He literally looks like
Yeah.
Walking Dead kind of corpse. He's got a big scar here. The side of his face is kind of fucked up and open. So that would fit that way. Plagueis is canon because Palpatine mentioned him.
Mm-hmm.
The race, they can change whatever they want. So just because he's not immune, like in the expanded universe is irrelevant, they can make him whatever race that he wants. It would be pretty cool, man, to harken to Lord. And he could just be this ancient... Sith Lord that have been hiding out for the whole Empire just to see what happens.
Yeah, well, you're saying, it does make sense because Sidious, Palpatine, he's speaking about himself when he's talking to Anakin about this legendary Darth
Sith Lord,
named Plagueis. Now, when he's speaking to Anakin about Plagueis in the original, in the earlier ones, there's this thematic music that kind of Gregorian Sith.
And they're watching the big water bubble theater.
That same music plays
Not
when
Jedi.
this Plagueis that was with Snoke appears.
Which
This
is cool.
This music is also playing, and it's layered, right? So there is that. Now he wouldn't if it is Plagueis, it would make sense that he wouldn't have appeared because he would have needed time to heal from being essentially killed by Sidious. Now. Sidious is no joke. When he says someone's dead, someone's dead. You know what I mean? So that's kind of like where it's a gray area. But like if he did manage to survive it, it would have taken a long time because Sidious has got lightning as you see. There's a fissure on his head. So you're saying they're saying he's not immune. The munes being a bit more elongated, but he is so torn up that he could because he's got a flat face. He could be immune. Simply just completely deformed by what he's taking. Half his face is missing.
I guess so.
The Mune head is longer, but his head is cleft. There's a cleft in his head and destroyed.
Yeah,
so
his whole side is
his whole is all chopped off. So he could be the legitimate Darth Plagueis of old.
Yeah, I think so too.
Right?
I mean, maybe he's pulling kind of like a Dr. Manhattan piecing himself together. So maybe at some point he could actually reanimate completely.
Yeah.
Enough
Well,
time.
he's able to draw the Force from dying beings, right? So for he himself, he was immortal. So we don't know that'll come in at some point.
So
but
that's kind of like almost vampiric in a way. Then.
Yeah, very, very much so. He was vampiric with the Force, and in beings that he would kill, he was able to draw their life force. And in fact, some Sith were so powerful. There was one Sith before, like thousands of years ago, even before Darth Bane, who destroyed the energies of an entire planet to make himself this. They just called him the Emperor, and he was almost like a deity, essentially. But so this could definitely be him. And now also again, it makes sense that he then gravitates to Ben Solo, because.
Force is strong in the family.
Yes, Plagueis trained Sidious. Sidious was associated with Anakin. So from afar, if he's watching, he's just collecting where his former apprentice or disciple left off.
Well, and continuing with the rule of two and continuing with the lineage therefrom.
One to have the power, one to crave it. The rule of two, exactly.
It's definitely, it's an interesting, thought process with it because you've got him there's just so much there that could be like, if that is true, if it is Darth Plagueis, and you're right, like how does he repair himself? We don't know that. Like if we're going almost by like some vampiric terms, it's like he'd have to rest. He'd have to like capture certain amounts of other people or bodies. Like I'm almost harking back to like Interview for a Vampire, where Lestat's off in the water and and like he has to drink a certain amount of blood.
Right, and that would explain his absence in this whole
whole
and
amount of time.
And he sits quietly in the darkness, as Sith do, as they've learned to do since the time of
So
Darth
that makes
Vader,
a lot of sense.
right? And then when it's advantageous to him, then he appears.
Exactly.
And because they recruit like at a certain in shadows, that's how they do it, right?
Yeah, and if you've mastered death, you're gonna play the fucking long game. The
Exactly.
the generational long game.
Yeah,
Just wait for your chance and see what happens.
Exactly.
That would be really, really cool. I would let. Oh, speaking of which, okay, so Darth Plagueis has a staff. Doesn't he fight with a staff?
Plagueis has he's got. Well, he has a mastery of numerous weapons.
Does he?
Yeah.
Okay. Because Christian Harloff always mentions that there's a staff, and he said, and Harloff's always going that the staff that Rey fights with and carries with her everywhere, he was trying to connect it as
To Darth Plagueis.
Plagueis' staff, as if that it's not just a random
Artifact.
staff.
That might be.
You know, what'd be really cool.
That'd be a stretch, but
You know, what'd be really cool would be in Episode 8. She's getting trained by Luke.
And she uses stuff.
And they put a fucking crystal in the staff, and it becomes a staff with double-ended.
yeah,
That's a long. That'd be a long.
that's a lot of staff.
Yeah,
because that staff
It
is
big.
like here.
Oh, it's
and
much bigger than.
Yeah, but like the other staffs are just like this, and then it's a blade.
Yeah.
That thing is like way taller than her.
Yeah.
It'd be cool though.
It would be.
I don't know. I think it'd be a little awkward. It'd be like,
It'd keep hitting
it'd be
the
like
ground.
you'd be like you turn on into the ground, way above your head.
It'd be like a Sports Center blooper. It was like number 9 coming from Camino.
Oh man.
She doesn't know what she's doing.
So many unanswered questions. You know, I hope. Okay, look, in there was a lot of great characters in this and great stuff, but there was so many teases that we didn't see enough of. Not even to mention Captain Phasma, because she pretty much got Boba Fetted in this.
Yeah,
So
totally.
the one that looks cool but doesn't really have much.
Do much.
Okay, but we've whether it's in flashbacks or whether they're somewhere else on another planet, we've got to see the Knights of Ren. Kick
I
some
hope
ass.
so. Like
We've
that's
got
like,
it, right? Because Snoke even calls him. Remember that part where he comes in and he can't get the info out of Rey, and he's like, "She's strong with the Force," and Snoke's like, "You, master of the Knights of Ren,
Yeah.
can't beat a scavenger." So that means that he's still the master of them.
Yeah.
Where are they? Are they just
But then again,
causing
he
shit
can't take
somewhere
out a
else?
stormtrooper, so
Maybe
not
he's
saying much.
Well, we don't know that the Knights of Ren actually fight with lightsabers though, because in that flashbacks, or what we think is a flashback scene, Kylo Ren's the only one with a lightsaber, and all the rest are just around. They have blasters and stuff.
I was hoping those guys from
The raid.
The raid.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
like, come on, man.
Yeah.
I thought
It
it
would've
would
been so
be knights.
perfect.
I
I
hope
thought
they
so,
get
too.
recruited as knights.
Yeah.
That'd be nice.
Yeah.
That's
wanna
a
see
waste
more
of ass whooping right there. That's
the biggest waste. Yeah, such a waste. I'm hoping that happens too.
and just as a kind of counterpoint to the Jedi Knights, like, is this the Knights of Ren? Is this like the kind of the dark side's version? I know there's a rule of 2 when it comes to like leadership, but they could have minions. They obviously have like
they have pawns, they have disciples.
Exactly.
Even in Star Wars Rebels, they have Inquisitors all over the place. So they use they use lightsabers and they have Force powers. But yeah.
And what was General Grievous in the prequels?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
he had certain like
Yeah. He trained under Dooku.
Yeah, certain powers as well. And Dooku was only an apprentice. He wasn't even.
Dooku was a Jedi master.
No, he was a master.
He was a Jedi master, but he was a Sith apprentice.
Like
Like
who was
yeah, but
Darth
he was a master.
Tyrannus?
He was
Yeah.
Darth though. He's Darth
Yeah.
Tyrannus.
Yeah.
Darth Tyrannus.
Yeah.
So he could train people.
Yeah.
But it breaks the rule of
Ventress.
2, though, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But he
that's-
trains
breaks the
Ventress,
rules.
right?
Well, he's General Grievous. He's not Darth Grievous.
Yeah.
No, but he learns Sith
Yeah, so technically he had 2 apprentices.
So technically,
So he had
it is 2
Grievous
apprentices.
and he had.
I don't even know what Grievous
Gets
is.
kind of funky there.
Yeah, Grievous is like he doesn't have enough organs to have Force. Like he doesn't have.
There's nothing left.
Well,
Yeah.
it's not that he had Force. It was just he was like a
trained in
Jedi
Sith
hunter.
art. Yeah.
Yeah.
He just had these lightsabers and just.
Yeah.
Because
And
he was a cyborg.
he was
and
strong
he-
enough to
yeah.
defeat them, which is
Yeah.
kind of
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah, basically he's metal, so he should have been just another one of those things that's like Force done.
You'd think, yeah.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
he's metal. So.
Prequels, man, you could bash your head.
Yeah.
Exactly. The whole time.
How uncivilized.
What I was looking for, you know what I like in terms of, we're going speculation,
Yeah.
I think they like what these movies need, like to really give them that boost. I want to see more Jedi. We've had a lot of Sith. I want to see some Jedi, not just like past from the past, like the new Jedi Order that Luke was starting to that Luke was starting up. Essentially, that was that Jedi Order from the old canon. They are taking from that, and that's what he was doing with Ben and whatever.
Well, he might have stashed kids. Yeah,
Yes.
He might have stashed kids.
Exactly.
Elsewhere.
He might have said, or he might have, or who knows if they're not turned into the Knights of Ren.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I want to see some like Jedi Academy stuff with Luke at the helm. That would really be cool.
Yeah, I think that yes, definitely.
That would be great that would be great to see that at some point.
How old do you think Kylo Ren is?
Probably is like
Around the same, like older than Rey.
I think he's like 8 to 10 years older than Rey.
I don't think it's that much.
Yeah.
I think Rey is like 20, and he would be like 24 or 20.
No, I think he's
I
like
think-
28.
I think he's late 20s
28,
because I think in his
Yeah.
like late teens he led the revolt.
Maybe. Yeah, remember. I don't think he's close. I don't think he's that close to 30 though. I don't know. Even by his look, he's just
Or he could be like 27 and she could be
26, 27.
18.
And she's like 18 to 20.
The ages are always weird. Like how old's Luke supposed to be in A New Hope? Isn't he supposed to be just a farm boy, like
Yeah.
a teenager? Like
It's supposed to be
19?
17, I think.
17.
17 or 18
Really?
in New Hope.
Is he?
Yeah, it's that age, right? It's a very young age.
Yeah. It's another galaxy, right? Maybe
Yeah.
He was legitimately 20 years old as an actor.
No, yeah.
Yeah, but like I think he was playing like a 17-year-old, 18-year-old.
Yeah, because how long? Because for him to lead that revolt, he has to at least be of a decent age that he can defeat Luke, right? Because otherwise, if he's too young,
No.
right?
If he can handle Luke in any way, there's no way.
Yeah, that's
Nothing else makes sense with Rey and with,
that leads in a whole other
Yeah,
rabbit hole.
no,
Yeah, so
impossible.
how does he?
I don't
tear
know.
shit
That's the thing. I don't know.
because at some point Luke has to be, unless it's Snoke.
Yeah, like he's with him or something.
Like maybe Snoke finally like led the charge, and then Kylo, you handle this, and then I'm gonna nullify Luke.
Yeah.
Then him and the Knights of Ren could just clean house.
If
with
they made
everybody else.
Ben Solo so weak under pressure with the Force,
How
as
could
to,
he be Luke
like with
one-on-one?
like to like
There's
have
no
trouble
way.
with a stormtrooper, then there's no way.
We don't know. Yeah,
There's no way he could fight Luke Skywalker.
There's no
Absolutely
way.
no way.
There's no way he could fight Luke Skywalker if he's not injured or bad. Like something's got to happen. Something. There's got to be
He'd have to
something
be
there.
unconscious.
Yeah.
To-
There's no way he'd have the confidence either. Like if his confidence is shaky when some scavenger talks back to him, how would he have the balls to fight Luke?
Yeah.
Snoke had to have been there. Otherwise, they got to come up with some interesting storytelling.
Yeah.
But he at least, I mean, he couldn't have been 10 years old.
No.
And leading the Knights of Ren,
Yeah.
right? He had to
No.
be like late teens in order to do it. And then she, and if speculating that Rey was there too, and got left behind or at least smuggled somewhere else, she was like 5 years old. So maybe that's a 10 to 12 year difference. I don't think it's that ridiculous to think.
No, like I could definitely see that actor playing 30. You know what I mean? Late 20s to 30. But it blows the twins aspect out the water, like that speculation out the water. But it definitely it could still be your brother and sister. So, but it definitely like it's
You
so
gotta
hard.
look at Han Solo though. When Han Solo didn't have kids before, so you have to look at that age, because Han Solo is supposed to be a certain age and.
Yeah, like
I
if we're
mean-
going by the actor's age, he was like what? He was
30s.
like he was
Yeah.
like 20. No, yeah, he was in his 30s. He was in his 30s when Leia was 19 in Star Wars, right?
So all that all that stuff, the pregnancy and stuff would have been later on. So Ben can't be that old, or else Han Solo would be like the guy from Conan. What was the guy that he died right in the beginning of the movie? What's his name? The actor. The guy who's from Conan, the old guy who just died. He passed off the flash drive to.
Max von Sydow's
Yeah,
character?
yeah.
Lor San Tekka?
Yeah. Han Solo would have to be around that age.
I think they kind of are. I mean, Han Solo's pretty old in this.
Yeah, he's pretty old.
It's been
dude.
30 years.
It's been 30 years.
He's 60 something.
Yeah.
Maybe Lor San Tekka's a little older.
And we got some work.
Well, okay, but that just answers the question. It's been 30 years since the last one. So the kid would have to be born and raised during that time.
Yeah.
So, like, he's got to be under 30.
He's got to be under 30.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
Can't
so,
you
yeah,
26, 27.
Yeah,
I'm good
26,
with that.
27.
that would be realistic.
I'm good.
Yeah,
26,
that's
27.
realistic.
Yeah.
That's realistic.
He might even be... He might even be 30. That's a stretch, but I mean, he might have been conceived on Endor,
No.
man. He
Yeah.
was conceived on the moon of Endor.
Congratulations.
No.
All right, folks, that'll do it for our Star Wars Super Alpha Geek Meathead Uber speculation. So many questions to be answered. I'm sure episode 8 will do it. So, from all of us, you will subscribe. You will like the video. You will follow us at the Hero Lair. My name's Dan. Follow me on Twitter, DanPhilippeDF. He's Josh Martyr. Where can the folks find you?
Find me at Joshua Martyr on Twitter, and for authorship, www.joshuamartyr.com.
Big Sims.
Big_Sims on Twitter and Instagram, Simplicity1.
He's Mario.
2 M's.
Mario Hammerall on Twitter.
All right, guys. We'll hang out with you soon. May the Force be with you.
Part of you.